Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's unemployment Q&A live. I want to talk more about sending in an affidavit if your employer closed down or if you had lack of childcare, and answer all your questions about what the best documents to send in for PUA, proof of employment, to the EDD if you got that. I hope everyone's having a good Sunday. I'm sure that my mom would want me to remind everybody that through the app Ibotta, if you're struggling with being able to afford Thanksgiving dinner, they have a way to do a free Thanksgiving dinner, and you can use the app with food stamps. And if you do that, like you pay with food stamps, and then you actually would get cash back loaded onto your Ibotta um, account. So that's kind of cool. Good morning, Sugar Sprinkles. Good morning, Paula. Let's talk really quick about those 6 steps to do the affidavit. Okay, Creep wants to know, can I still get paid benefits if I haven't gotten paid? Yes, you can potentially if you're eligible. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to email your assembly member and ask for their help getting paid. So round squash, you have to send PUA proof of employment. It was part of one of the stimulus packages, one that Trump signed when he was still in office, the one that got passed December 27th. This was actually in the federal guidance that it had to be done. So the EDD wanted to rush out payments to us, right? So they were trying to hurry up and get everybody paid. And now they're going back and they're retroactively asking. A lot of people are saying that they think that the EDD should have asked for proof of employment first and not issued benefits until they had that proof of employment. But the reason why they did that, I mean, look how long things are backed up. They're backed up 6 months on phone determination interviews. And because of that, they didn't want to make people wait 6 months potentially. I don't know how long, but they didn't want to make people wait to get their unemployment benefits. So they decided to just go ahead and issue them first and then go back and check that people were eligible afterward. Okay, so Applebee Rachel says, my card didn't deliver and my profile has been disqualified. So that sounds like an issue where you would need to either call the EDD or email your assembly member to find out. Now, if it's the reason why I'm saying call the EDD is because of the disqualification. Bank of America would be who you would need to call to find out why your card wasn't delivered. But those payments do need to switch to paid in order to start receiving your funds. Good morning, Robert. David says, I was never on PUA, but EDD sent me an email asking me to prove work. So here's here's another thing that the EDD did. This is so wonderful. Some people were actually put on PUA that should have been a regular unemployment claim the whole time. Maybe this deserves a whole video. I feel like my camera angle's weird. Anyway, basically what happened, what the good old EDD did is in between when some of the bills were being signed, right? There were delays and there were gaps in people's benefits while they were waiting to implement or program, even in the computer system, some of the PEUC extensions. So, what some of the reps did, thinking that they were being helpful, is they actually put people on to a PUA claim. They did that so that people wouldn't have a gap or delay in benefits. People that were regular unemployment, people that should have been on one of the PEUC extensions, while they were waiting to program that into the EDD computer system, the reps, thinking they were being helpful, were like, oh, well, one of the ways you could get PUA is when there were no other programs available to you. So the reps, thinking they were being helpful, said, oh, well, There's PUA. We'll go ahead and put this person on PUA so that they don't have a gap in benefits or a delay in benefits. So it's possible that some of you were put onto PUA unemployment like in the middle of your claim. So you wouldn't even necessarily be able to look at your last payment type or program type in order to see if that was the program you were on. You would need to go back through all of your payment transactions to see if you ever were put onto PUA unemployment. In that case, what you're going to want to do is just send your tax return. If you had a regular job and you shouldn't have been on PUA, you qualified for regular unemployment and they put you on PUA, send in your tax refund. That's going to, or your tax return. That's going to be the easiest way to prove proof of employment. The other thing you could do in that situation is send in a pay stub. There's lots of things under that, but please don't ignore it. Please don't think, oh, well, I wasn't on PUA, so I'm just going to ignore this and I'm not going to send anything in. That's what I don't want you guys to do. If you got that notice, please send them something. And it's possible that you were put on PUA without your knowledge, kind of in the middle of your claim, in order to try and get you paid. I hope that answers that. That is what I suspect is going on. Good morning, Bonnie. Okay. Also, you guys, please like the video. I would really appreciate it. Okay, David says, that's the one we just did. Some Can of Olives says, I was on regular unemployment and PEUC, but I received that PUA message. What should I do? So yeah, just send in a pay stub or send in your tax returns. The tax returns are going to be preferable in most situations. That's going to be the easiest thing to send. So that is what I would send. If you want to also include an affidavit saying, hey, I shouldn't have been on PUA. I had a traditional claim. I'm not sure why the rep put me onto a PUA claim. You could include that with your tax return. If you have a tax return, regardless of whether you should have been PUA or you shouldn't have been PUA, that is going to be the preferable document to submit. Okay, so Some Can of Olives, make sure to look at all of the payments, right? Not just the most recent ones, because some people were put on PUA kind of in the middle of their claim in order to not have a gap in benefits. Okay, Michelle says, has anyone received a response from the EDD yet regarding this new request? Not to my knowledge. And I know that that's another question that a lot of you have. You want to know when the EDD is going to let you know whether what you sent in was accepted or not. And unfortunately, my contact wasn't able to give me a timeline on that. You know, all we know is that they're behind. I wouldn't expect it to come quickly. But he did say basically that they want to work with people. They want to be lenient, essentially. And as long as you submit something, it hopefully will be okay. He made it seem like he wants it to be really easy for people. You guys, they probably don't have the time or the manpower to go back and really research all of this, quite honestly. So probably is, I shouldn't say that probably as long as you send something, you'll be okay, but that was kind of the impression that he gave me. Okay. Lauren says, I sent in my taxes last year before the 1227 extension. I have not received anything from the EDD yet for proof. They said on the phone, I may be set since they were sent in, which makes sense. Yes. Okay. So that's another thing. There are some people who were getting PUA and they're not going to ever need to send in proof of employment. And that would be if your benefits started before December 27th of 2020 and you already sent it in, you're not supposed to have to send it in again. That would usually have been in order to receive a higher weekly benefit amount. And if you already submitted proof of income documents and your claim started before December 27th of 2020, then they're not supposed to make you send those again because basically what you already sent proves your proof of work. Okay. Edward says, good morning. Jackie says, I'm very confused. I was on PEUC extension last. They cut off payments when payments ended for most people, but I'm still unemployed and unable to find work. Would I qualify? Not unless you've done some work since you first filed your original unemployment claim. Unfortunately, the EDD does not approve two back-to-back unemployment claims unless you've had some attachment to the workforce since filing your original claim. The way it's designed, it's only designed to help you. Even though you have like a whole benefit year, it's not really even designed to give you benefits for an entire year. Debbie says, I need to, there's no dumb questions, Debbie. Um, Debbie says, I need to submit an affidavit, but I don't know if there's a form on EDD that I can use. What is an acceptable or proper affidavit help? Let me see. You guys, I just made a video on this, and I don't know why it's not loading, basically. I wanted to copy the link. Let me see if I can do that really quickly, because I did make a video yesterday, 2 days ago, on exactly how to fill out an affidavit. So it's a 6-step process. I don't think that the EDD has a template on their webpage. So this is just what I found when I Googled it. I found 6 steps. They seem to be good steps to me. This is what I would recommend doing. I just put the link to that video in the chat. Maybe I should. I'm going to type in how to fill out an affidavit. Affidavit video. Yeah, and I'm not sure why that video doesn't seem to be getting pushed. YouTube is funny sometimes. So yeah, so you're just going to want to follow the steps in this video, and it's really easy. I'll go over the 6 steps right here. Oh, thank you, Sugar Sprinkles, for reminding everybody to please hit the like button. Okay, so step 1 to filling out an affidavit is you're going to title it. The example that I saw sort of had 2 titles. So I would title this Affidavit of Proof of Employment. And then you're also going to say affidavit in your name. So affidavit, proof of employment, affidavit of Shelley's Millions. Step 2 is craft a statement of identity. I, Shelley's Millions, am 44 and reside at 1122 Future Millionaires Lane, Los Angeles, California, 90028, something like that. Step 3, write a statement of truth. It is a legal document. So you want to be truthful, and you're basically like you're swearing that this is the truth. So step 3, the statement of truth. I, Shelley's Millions, swear that this information is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. Step 4 is state the facts. You don't want to go into all these little details. The EDD, someone has to read through all of these, right? They don't need a lot of details. They just need to know that you're swearing that you had a business plan, that you had an offer to go to work, and then it was retracted. So just the facts. Please keep in mind 2 things with this. This is really important. There's not that many of you watching, so tell your friends. These are the 2 important things. If you're going to list a date, like for example, if you say, I had an offer to begin work on February 1st of 2020, I kind of would include that. However, you need to make sure that the date that you put matches up with the start date of your unemployment claim, or the start date that you requested your unemployment claim to get backdated to. Those are going to need to match. You wouldn't want to say that you had an offer to go to work in September of 2020, but you're requesting backdating, or you started your claim in February of 2020, because then the EDD might be like, wait a minute, they weren't going to start work until September. Why are they claiming for February, March, April, May, June, July, August? You know what I mean? So try and remember the start date of your claim, or when you requested to have your claim backdated, because you're going to want those dates to line up. The second thing is, a lot of you are saying, Shelley, the reason why I didn't go back to work is due to lack of childcare. And I don't know how many of you guys remember this or have friends that would remember this, but if you were saying on that question, if you were answering it yes, that there was another reason why you weren't looking for work other than being sick or injured, and you put lack of childcare, that was causing your unemployment claim to get stuck on pending and need a phone determination interview. And some people were actually told that they were disqualified from getting any benefits if they put lack of childcare. So, lack of childcare alone isn't necessarily enough to qualify for PUA benefits. You also needed to still be looking for work. So, what I would do, and there's still no guarantee 100% that would work. I go over it in that video that I've now pinned as the top comment. I use the childcare as an example, but you still need to say, I was looking for childcare and the child care center either closed or wasn't accepting new children. You need to make sure to say due to the pandemic or due to COVID-19, because PUA was available because of COVID-19, basically. So you need to say that. And then you also need to say that you continued to look for work, or that you had begun looking for work and you were still looking for work from home or remote positions, and that you were unable to find them. So state the facts. They're still on step 4. I had an offer to begin work on February 1st of 2020. I had begun to look for childcare, but all the childcare centers in my area were closed or not accepting new children due to the pandemic. I continued to look for work from home opportunities, but due to the pandemic, not many businesses with remote opportunities were hiring, and I was unable to go back to work and had to stay home to care for my child. That's all it needs to say, just the facts. Don't get into where you applied or any of that. Just the facts on that. Step 5 for the affidavit is, again, do a statement of truth. So that would look like, I, Shelley's Millions, once again state that this information is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. Step 6, according to the web article, is to sign it and have it notarized. I asked my contact at the EDD if it needed to be notarized. He said it would be nice, but it's not mandatory. So if you want to have it notarized, getting something notarized usually will run you about $20. So you can try that. But they didn't say it needed to be notarized. I would type it. There's not necessarily anything wrong with handwriting it. But again, maybe your handwriting is difficult to read. You want to make this as easy as possible when the EDD is reviewing it. So even if you don't have access to a computer, you could go to a library, you can go in person to the EDD. If you have an appointment to have them let you use their computer, or guys, you can just use like the Notes app on your phone. That's what I did in the example in that video that I'm referencing. And then you can upload it that way. But I would try and type that. I wouldn't try and handwrite it. Okay. So let's see here. What else do we have? Okay. And then, Christine, what if you don't have documentation? Meaning if you didn't make enough money to file taxes as a babysitter job. So again, that is when you would do an affidavit. In that case, can you get some of the people that you babysat for to write the affidavit for you? So let's say you babysat my little baby, my little green guy here, right? You would email me or you would call me or text me and say, "Hey, Shelley, remember when I babysat for you? Can you please write a letter that I used to work for you and that you paid me in cash?" That would probably look like, and then I would, of course, say yes. Maybe you don't have the people that you babysat for. Maybe you don't have their information anymore. If that's the case, then you would sign the affidavit. You would, in that case, it would look, all the steps would be the same except for the facts. So your step 4, this is just an example, and I can't promise that the EDD would accept this, but your step 4 would look something like this. I used to babysit for Shelley's Millions in 2018 and 2019. But when the pandemic hit, she was no longer comfortable having someone that was not immediate family come into the household, and they didn't need a babysitter because they weren't allowed to go out because we were on stay-at-home orders due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Um, so I was no longer babysitting for Shelley's Millions, but I did work for her in 2018 and 2019 and then go from there. Okay, so that's what you're gonna need to do. You would need to sign the affidavit. It's better if that comes from the employer. Like in this case, it'd be better if it came from me. But if you can't get in touch with the person you used to babysit for, or the person you used to clean houses for, or whatever that situation is, then you would need to fill out the affidavit yourself. And again, that video is pinned as the top comment. Okay, Yesenia says, I received a notice for the submission of proof of self-employment, but I never claimed self-employment. Just an unemployment claim and extension for pandemic unemployment. So again, we kind of talked about this a little earlier. Sometimes the EDD thought they were being helpful, and while they were getting the computer programming in place for the PEUC extensions, they actually put people on PUA that didn't belong on PUA. So that could have happened at some point in the middle of your claim. All you're going to do is submit your tax return from 2019. And just, I probably would include an affidavit with that. I would say, hey, I'm not sure why, but the rep put me on PUA. I should have been regular UI, but here's my proof of work. It's going to be easier for you to prove your proof of work if you should have been a regular unemployment claim the whole time. But I wouldn't ignore it. That's the one thing I wouldn't do. I wouldn't say, "Oh, well, I was a regular unemployment claim, so I don't need to do this." If you got the notice, please, please, please send them the documents. Okay, this seems like a good time to ask you guys to like the video. And Francis, good morning, Francis. Annie says, "Aw, thank you. Love you guys too." All right. My family and I relocated to a new city right before COVID. We were planning on starting our own business and had work lined up as well. Should we submit both? I'm freaking out. Annie, don't freak out. Really, really, my contact said that they're really going to work with people. They want to make it easy for people. And I have had feedback that it's easy to upload the documents. So in your case, you could outline what your business plan was. Now, again, I am going to say, even though this is how to write an affidavit, but even if you, it's my pickle notebook, which is my favorite, it was a gift from my roommate last year. Anyway, so even if your business plan is just handwritten notes, I wouldn't send handwritten notes to the EDD. Make it as easy as possible for them. So take your handwritten notes, get out your cell phone, and put it on your notes app. So put it so that it's in some sort of typed format and then send that to the EDD. So you could send a business plan, right? Or you could send the offer to start work. So if you have a letter from an employer, if you have an email from an employer, you could submit that. And, since in your case, I'd go ahead and send both. You don't want to send the EDD if you can avoid it, like 20, 30 pages, right? You don't want to send them tons and tons of pages. Let's say your business plan is like 3 pages once it's typed, and your offer to start work is like a couple pages. I'd go ahead and send them all 5 pages. You might even want to send an affidavit with that, like a summary of what you're sending them so that they know. Um, Hi, Joe Hollywood. A lot of banks do notary for free. I didn't know that. Joe Hollywood, are you my friend from work? If so, good to see you. Um, I did not know that banks do notary for free, but that's definitely a very, very, very good tip. So yeah. So now if you're using your notes app, you are going to need to print that out in order to get it notarized. And yeah. So Come back to the dog sitting. So yeah, so you would need to print it out. And again, you can go to sorry, you're Joe Hollywood on Pokemon Go. I haven't played Pokemon Go in a long time, but we're Pokemon Go friends, and you used to work for a different company that worked for the company that I work for. We started bringing security back at the theater, and congratulations on all your photography. Okay, so anyway, I should get some like headshots done or something. Anyway, so you're going to need to print it if you want to get it notarized and you've done it on the Notes app on your phone. You can do a couple things. You can email yourself the note and then go to a friend's house with a printer. You guys, my roommate actually used to have me print things at my work for them. Like they made a I should show you guys this candle next time. My roommate made these like amazing candles, and 100% they emailed me the photos and I printed them at my job. Um, it's the beauty of being a manager and working for a company for 25 years is they'll let you use the good ink on the printer every once in a while. See if you have a friend who's working who will print it for you at their job. So you're going to email your notes to yourself, then email it to a friend, see if they can print it up for you at their job. You can go to the library and use their printer. I want to say it's like 10 cents. You can go to Staples and print it. Again, it's like 10 cents for a copy. Um, so you would need to print up your notes before you can have that notarized. And that's a great tip that banks do that. I did not know that. Okay. So FNC. Oh, wait, hold on. I missed one. I missed two. WC1A says, how comprehensive intense will the EDD be checking the proofs? Aren't they still understaffed? Do you think they really are trying to recoup losses? No. This is what I think, you guys, and I don't know this for a fact, right? But this is just the impression I got. I sent my contact like a whole list of things. And he really was just like, don't worry about it, just send what they have. The tone of his email was basically like, oh my God, we're overwhelmed. And honestly, the only reason why we're doing this is because it's a federal requirement, right? So when the EDD agreed to like take the federal money to pay these benefits, they agreed to play by the federal rules, right? And the federal rules are that they needed to request this proof of employment from people. So now they have to do it. And he really made it seem kind of like, ugh, this is a chore and we wish we didn't have to do it. So I think they're going to be, this is just an opinion. I don't know this for sure. Be truthful and be as thorough as you can. But no, you have to think about this. This is like when people were asking, are they going to call the jobs that I applied to when you listed it under work search? And no, they don't have the manpower to do that, quite honestly. Like, there's not going to be, it was like 1,000,000 claims, right? That got asked to submit proof of employment. So they're not going to be saying, and again, be honest. I'm not saying don't be honest, but let's say you were going to work for the Domino's down the street and it totally went out of business. And you send them in your affidavit, it's typed, not in this notebook, that I applied at Domino's and I had a job offer and they permanently closed. There's not someone back there going, this is the Domino's on Crenshaw and Obama and let me Google if that was a Domino's. Let me Google if that's closed. There's not, I mean, like I would be really shocked if there was somebody that's like out there doing that, right? I don't think they have the manpower. So I think as long as you send the affidavit, but the affidavit, it is a legal document. You're swearing that it's the truth, but I don't think that there's going to be somebody verifying it. I think that they just want to make it as easy as possible. And I think they're doing this because they have to, not because they want to. And I think as long as you send something that makes sense and that qualifies, that they're going to leave it alone. I think that I'm under the impression that they want to be done with it just as much as we do. Okay. So FNC says, I received PUA, but I haven't gotten an email about verifying self-employment. I met the requirements to be asked to. Do they not ask everyone? So they were supposed to send it out in batches. It's possible that they just haven't asked you yet. But yeah, by the time they do ask you, you'll totally be in the know about what you need to send. So I wouldn't worry about it too much until you get that. Joe says, I thought of that about getting people that I house dog sit for to write me an affidavit. Yeah, you absolutely could. Joe, what about like some of the people that you've done photography for? Could you, yours I feel like is easy. Yeah, just, um, and you have the photos to prove that, like I've seen those on Facebook. But yes, let's go with the dog sitting example. So Joe, um, does amazing headshots. He does like action shots when people are like learning. I don't know why I'm doing this for kickboxing because I think you still punch in kickboxing. Anyway, Joe, shout out to your business. I've seen those photos. They're amazing. Um, Making everybody look gorgeous while they're like getting their kickboxing workout in. Gorgeous, gorgeous girls getting their workout on. So you could probably ask some of the people that you've done photography for if they've ever paid you in cash, if they ever Venmoed you for those headshots, you could use that. Um, I think, probably most of my viewers haven't done headshots and modeling photos for people, but probably a lot of my viewers have done the dog walking situation. So of course there's apps like Rover and things like that where you can do it um like professionally. And if so, you would just submit like your Rover, I don't know what they send you, invoices or statements or whatever. But a lot of times, what I've heard is after you like start walking dogs on these apps, and Francis, you might know this as well. Um, the people like you and then they don't want to book you through the app anymore. They want to book you and just pay you cash. That happens all the time. So yeah, you could absolutely just ask the person who you're walking a dog for, hey, like, I was able to walk your dog through the pandemic, but I also had to get unemployment benefits. Would you just mind writing me a quick statement that I walked your dog? And they're not asking for proof of how much you made, right? If you were just getting the minimum $167, they're not verifying like how much you made. I don't think they're looking to like link up with the IRS. They could, but I don't think they're going to do that again. I'm not sure they have the manpower to be like, oh, they were walking dogs and did they report that income? I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. But, and they certainly could, right? But I don't think so. So, yeah, you could totally just ask the person that you were walking dogs for a letter stating that you walked their dog. Again, make sure the timeline lines up to when you first started collecting benefits or when you asked to backdate your claim. And Christine, you're welcome. You guys, I'm pretty caught up on the comments. I'm at 11:33 with Alicia. She says, I was going to send over my rejection letter from a job that was due to COVID. Screenshots of my resumes on different websites showing I was looking for work. I'm also sending my rejection letters and emails saying I was applying for jobs, also writing up an affidavit. Is that enough or too much? That sounds perfect. Again, I wouldn't send like every single rejection letter. In that case, I'd probably keep that affidavit about to one page and then maybe send like 4 emails back and forth or no more than 4 other pages showing that you were looking for work before your claim started. Okay, oops, I lost my place. Oh no, I'm back. Okay. Edward says, any plans for Thanksgiving? So I will be working on Thanksgiving. I normally don't work Thursdays, but it's time and a half. So I'll be working on Thursday. And my work actually does like a pretty nice spread for Thanksgiving. We get like a honey baked ham and turkey, and then we get mashed potatoes from Marie Callender's and some pies from Marie Callender's. Except we don't get pumpkin pies because everybody's over pumpkin pie because they normally get pumpkin pie from somewhere else. So I think we're getting like an apple pie and banana cream and a peach and something else. I'm supposed to be ordering it. I don't know. And then some gravy. So it's a pretty good spread. And then we go to like Smart and Final and we get some bread and like cheeses in case we need to make grilled cheese sandwiches for any vegetarians. Um, no vegetable. We usually our bar isn't open and our bar used to serve salad, so we used to like get salad from the bar, but there's no salad for the bar this year. So anyway, and then my mom will cook here at my house because her oven went out a long time ago. So she will come here and she'll cook. And then this is better for everyone, for her to be alone here. That way I can't micromanage. I can't be like, that's not the right pot for that. That's not the right pan for that. Can't you hear this? You spilled that. My mom says I yell at her too much. I don't know. She frustrates me. I don't yell at her. I love her. But it's better if I'm not here when she cooks. So she'll come here, she'll cook, and I'll come home. Um, from work, and then dinner will be ready, and then it's better for all of us that way. I am going to try and stream a little bit on Thanksgiving for those of you who are alone on the holidays. I don't want anybody to be alone. So I'll bring you into my chaotic family on Thanksgiving, maybe only for about 30 minutes. And I haven't decided what time I will do that yet. Beauty Cosmetics says, Beauty Exo Cosmetics says, I have been in the process of starting my own car business. Would a business plan be okay? I don't have business license yet. What other documents should I submit? Yes, so business plans would be okay. Again, I wouldn't submit them just handwritten. I would type them up on your notes app and then print them out and send them in. And then also an affidavit, like kind of explaining what you're sending in, you know. Um, I Beauty Exo Cosmetics, where this is the truth. I had business plans to start a car business, and I have attached those. I swear that this is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and then sign it and send that along with it. Okay. WC1A, says, oh, yeah, we did that one. Sugar Sprinkles just got a job. Should I still deal with my past pending payments? I've certified for it and continue to wait, or just leave it alone and not worry about it anymore. Assembly member said response time is 5 to 8 weeks, and that was 10/28. Sugar Sprinkles, don't give up on that money. I'm so glad that you have a job now, but that's a lot of money that you're waiting on. So I wouldn't give up on it. Like, what if that hits right before Christmas or right after your Christmas bills and in the new year? Like, this is to all of you. If the EDD owes you money, don't let it go. I know it's frustrating. But Sugar Sprinkles, yours is now in the hand of the assembly member. So I would wait to get a response from them, or maybe they're not going to respond anymore. 5 to 8 weeks. I would just I would log on to your UI Online account once a week, see if there's any updates, see if you have weeks you can certify, see if those weeks have switched to paid. So I wouldn't like think about it an awful lot, but like don't forget about it either because they owe you that money. Okay. Ron says, thank you for your positive attitude. Comparing with others that spread fears. You're welcome. I mean, here's the thing though. Even though I'm like, I don't think they're going to check that carefully, I do wanna encourage everybody to be truthful. Like, I also don't wanna get myself in hot water, not encouraging people to be truthful. So I do want what you say to be truthful, um, but I don't think they're gonna have the manpower to go back and check. That's not saying, like, it's okay to lie and say, you know, one thing or another, but I don't think they're gonna go back and, like, really check that thoroughly. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Um Saif says, does the affidavit need to be notarized? So my contact said that it didn't have to be, that it would be nice, but it's not necessary. And then my friend Joe said that sometimes banks will notarize for free, which I didn't know. And that's really cool. I wish I knew that before. I think I've had to have two things notarized in my life, and I always hate forking over the money. Um, so see if your bank will notarize something for you for free. And then, yeah, if you can and it's free, you might as well because they said that they would prefer that. Francis, we don't get the apple pie from Apple Pan. We just get it from Marie Callender's where we get the mashed potatoes. But I thought about that. Okay. Deanna says, do I need to call the EDD if I still haven't received an email of this proof of self-employment? No, not necessarily. They're still sending it out in batches, so I wouldn't worry yet if you haven't gotten it. I had another viewer whose name is a little bit naughty, so I can't quite say it. Say the same thing. So it's just possible they haven't sent out your batch yet, asking for that. And keep in mind, if you already sent proof of income and your claim started before December 27th of 2020, that you may not ever be asked to submit these. Okay. David, can I submit 1099 as proof? Yes, absolutely. That's actually probably one of the preferred documents. Probably was taxes, then 1099, you know, then something from an employer, then an affidavit. But yeah, absolutely. You can turn in 1099. Let us know. Yeah, I'll let you guys know. What time is better for you? Well, I work the morning shift, so I won't even be home until like 6:30, and then my mom will be hungry, like, the second I walk in the door, so we'll probably eat. I don't feel like you guys want to stream us eating. So then after we eat, we normally play, like, Monopoly or watch a movie or something like that. So that's the part we'll stream, and then I'll be able to, like, chat more instead of, like, stuffing my face. Um Francis, don't don't send it through regular mail. So I did ask my contact that because someone was like, "How? What do we do if we can't upload it? Where do we mail it?" And he said, like that, he seemed frustrated with. His response was, "People know that the preferred method is uploading the documents," and he was like, "There will be instructions on how to mail it sent later." So he was a little snippy about that. So the preferred method is to get those documents uploaded online. So I would try and do that. Like, try and make it easy for them. And sugar sprinkles, don't give up on that. Yeah, that's because that's probably a lot of money, right? Like, don't give up on that. Marlene says, I was on a training EDD claim when COVID hit. My EDD was extended. Then I received a huge lump sum for PUA, probably. I was not supposed to receive PUA since I was already unemployed receiving training benefits. No, you should have. So basically, yeah, you should have. So basically, people could get PUA when there were no other benefits available to them as well, right? When they had exhausted all their other options. So if you were on PUA, I believe that you would have been eligible for that. You would just say in your affidavit, say, I didn't have enough wages to qualify for a regular claim. I was part of the EDD training program, and then unfortunately, I wasn't able to find work after the training program completed because everything, we were on stay-at-home orders due to the pandemic, and I was unable to find work, and so you allowed me to collect benefits under the PUA program. That's what I would say. And yes, you should have. You should be eligible as far as I know. All right. After 7 sounds good. Fabian says, does going to school affect unemployment benefits? Yes, it can. So what happens is, um, like the EDD isn't equipped to think about how people work and live and go to school in today's society. So, if you tell the EDD that you're going back to work, right, or that you're in school, which is one of the questions, like did you attend school or any training? Since it's just a computer program, what the computer program thinks is, oh, if they're going to school, they're not able to accept full time work. It doesn't take into account that people can do online classes on their own time and still balance a full time job. So, if you put that you've gone to school, it can cause your claim to go pending. And then, if it's pending, um, it can require the phone determination interview, which they're backed up almost 6 months on those. And then you have to explain, "Oh, well, it's online classes." So if you put that you're in school, yes, it can cause your claim to go pending, and it can cause you to need a phone determination interview. If you do get stuck on pending from putting that you're in school, you can email your assembly member for help to get you paid faster. Okay. Um, so Deanna, y don't I wouldn't mail it until they actually ask for it. So again, he seemed cranky about that. When I was like, "Hey, I have viewers asking where they can mail the documents instead of uploading them." He was just like, "Oh, they know that uploading them is the preferred method." So if you haven't been asked to submit those yet, I wouldn't worry about it just yet. That's my advice on that. LM says, on my affidavit, should I include my letter offering employment as well as when I called the rep, put me on PUA since I didn't have a traditional job, which the rep knew? So I would just say I wouldn't put all that about the rep. This is my opinion, right? And I'm a little bit nervous. I don't want to say anything that would like mess up your claim. But so what I would say is I would do all the steps of the affidavit that are in the video and then I went over a little earlier. And then I would say I am I'm including my offer letter where I was supposed to start work back on blah blah blah. I wouldn't go into what the rep said. I think that that's an unnecessary piece of information. That if you give the EDD an offer letter that you had with a start date and everything, that should be more than enough. But it's up to you because they did say that you can include as many documents. I just, I also like, how sometimes people are like protective of like their children? Like, what if that rubs the EDD the wrong way and they're like, oh, I just wouldn't want to make it sound like we're saying that the reps did something wrong. I would just be really cautious about that. I don't think it's needed. So, but it is up to you. Kind of, they indicated the more documents you submit, the better. I'm just not sure that they would need to know that. If you have the offer letter, that should be enough. Okay, Steve. Steve is lame. I like that name. Okay, I was going to start work for my brother's AC company as a sales rep. Do I just get an affidavit from him with his business license number on it saying that I could not work for him due to COVID? Yes, that would be wonderful. That would be enough. So he would just on company letterhead, if he has company letterhead as well. I don't even think he needs to do his business license on company letterhead though, if he has it, is preferred. And then if he wants to include his business license, that would be fine. Um, doesn't even need to mention that you're family. Just have him sign I was going to hire Steve is lame starting on such and such a date. Unfortunately, our business slowed down due to COVID-19 and I was unable to hire him. Um, yeah, that should be fine. Your mom didn't look for work because of her age and being high risk. She quarantined at home until she was able to get the vaccine. Should she add that in her affidavit as well? Let me think about this. I think that was one of the reasons that qualified for PUA. I just wanna be, like, really careful, um, what you put with that. Um, does she have other things that she can say other than the high risk and not looking for work? Like, did she have a business plan? What was she doing beforehand? I would focus on that. More than that she wasn't looking, due to being high risk. That was one of the things you could get PUA from. I just worry that if that's not worded, like, really correctly, that could cause them to ask for more information. Okay, do you guys have any other questions this morning? Because it looks like where is Debbie? I miss I love all you guys, but Debbie's always in here, and this is the second Sunday in a row that Debbie hasn't made it. I also haven't seen Andy in a while, but I know he's doing okay. He's at his new job. He commented on one of my videos. And then Bad Grandpa. Are the grandkids gonna have a good Christmas? Bad Grandpa calls himself Bad Grandpa because he lied and said Santa had COVID and couldn't deliver the presents last year. Hi, Darby. All right, so you guys, if you have any other questions, let me know in the chat. Oh yeah, the reminder about liking the video. If you guys haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you would give this video a like. Otherwise, all right. Raymond says, is just a business license sufficient for PUA verification? So I wouldn't just upload the business license and expect them to know what that is or why you've sent it, right? Aw, thank you, Darby. You're welcome. Okay, so I wouldn't just send the business license and have them, like, expect that they would know why you sent them that. So, I would also send, like, an affidavit. I would say, you know, "I, Raymond, had a business. Here is my business license to prove that I was self-employed before the pandemic. Unfortunately, I was just getting going, and so I don't have any tax returns to submit to you," or something like that. Like, I would submit some sort of statement as to why you're sending them the business license, but yeah, other than the, "Here's why I'm sending you a business license" statement and sending the business license, but yeah, business license definitely proves that you were self-employed, but I would just include, like, a little note about why you're sending that. You're very, very welcome, Darby. Okay, yes. Okay, so tomorrow, last Monday, I missed it. You guys, I was in Florida. Um, I was seeing Tony Robbins, which was kind of interesting. He's a motivational speaker. I missed last Monday night's live, but I will be going live tomorrow. I'm not sure if it'll be 9. I actually don't work tomorrow, so I might try and go a little bit earlier, but we'll definitely go live tomorrow. It's usually Monday nights at 9. And yeah, please like the video. And I'll be going live on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, in case anybody's alone and just kind of wants to not feel alone. I'll be streaming Thursday evening. And I haven't decided what time on that yet either. Oh, admin, darn you. Don't say that. That's gross. Okay. You behave or we'll have to block you. Okay, Darby says, "Me and my mother were very appreciative of you doing that for me. Just wanted to tell you." Okay, you're welcome. You're very welcome. I don't I don't remember helping you with the PUA phone numbers, but you are very, very, very welcome. I know Jenny Silver, she has a lot of really great videos on all the phone numbers to call as well. But yeah, I really like helping everyone. So thank you. You're welcome, and I'm glad the videos helped. Okay. Steve is lame. She was gonna work with my brother also. All right, so just have him write her a letter. Have him write a letter, saying maybe she was gonna be a receptionist. Obviously, probably your 67-year-old mom wasn't gonna be on the roof helping install air conditioning units. But if she was gonna help with phone calls because business was picking up or something like that. Actually, I don't even think that they need the position, right? I don't think that they need to know what the position was. It just needs to be on company letterhead stating that they had a job offer and then they weren't able to honor that job offer due to the pandemic. So yeah. Okay. And Steve is lame. You're welcome. Aw. Yeah, a lot of parents were aw, thank you. Thank you, Yesenia. Um, a lot of people were scared, and, like, especially the older people. You guys, my mom, one of the things that she misses the most is she used to go to the senior center, and they used to play bingo on Thursdays, and that is what she misses. She misses seeing her friends, right? I've offered to let her move in with me, and she's like, "But my friends," and I'm like, "Girl, at this time, it has been almost 2 years since you've seen them." But it's really sad and lonely for a lot of the seniors. So you guys, one of the things from the Tony Robbins seminar is he mentioned, like, if you're ever stuck in traffic, pull off and see if there's, like, a old folks home near you and, like, go in and visit someone who hasn't had a visitor in a long time. Like, it's really important that even if we don't have a lot, that we give back, right? And the seniors were really told, like, "Don't go out, like, it's really risky for you, like, you have to protect yourselves." And they, more so than a lot of the rest of us, were just really lonely through all of this. So yeah, it's really hard on them. It's hard for them to get around and see people anyway, and then they're told, like, "Hey, you can't go out and see people." Yeah, so just give back where you can, even if it's just your time, to care for someone else. And I am thankful for all of you, and I'm about to cry, so this seems like a good time to end the video. Um, I'll be going live tomorrow night, probably at 9. If it's not 9, I'll let you guys know when. I'll be going live on Thanksgiving sometime after 7. Again, I'll let you guys know in advance when, because I don't want anybody to be lonely on Thanksgiving. All right, you guys. Raymond, I don't know the answer to that. That's a really good question. Raymond wants to know, how can I get to upload another document? I already sent the business license. If you already sent the business license with no note, that's probably okay. I wouldn't worry about that. But I know that a lot of people actually have that same question. I will ask my contact that. My guess is either you'll need to call and ask them to like put the upload button back, or you need to email your assembly member. And that's probably what I would do, because the assembly members have just been so great with all of this, is I would email the assembly member and say, "Hey, I sent my proof of employment to the EDD, but I actually want to submit another document. I don't have the button available anymore. If I send that to you, can you make sure the EDD gets it and have them help with that?" Marlene, you're welcome. Aw, thank you. Retro says they're asking for proof for 1/1 of 2019 to 3/15/2020. I did my taxes in 2019, which was 1099. I'm a barber. Okay, so Retro. So it doesn't need to be proof for that whole time. So you probably you just need to submit something in that whole timeline. So if you did your 2019 taxes, just submit the 2019 taxes. That should be enough. The taxes are actually the preferred document, so that should be okay. All right. Thank you, Francis. I will see you all guys tomorrow. All right, and have a great Thanksgiving if I don't see you, and let me know what other questions you guys have. Guys, if you would watch the video that I pinned as the top comment, I would love that. Also, I'm gonna remind everybody that I am a fan of investing. I have a whole lot to say about that. I always have my Webull link in the description down below. So get your 2 free stocks with Webull. If you do, let me know which 2 free stocks you got. They've got a special promotion where if 2 more people sign up, I get like a free share of Apple. And that's one of the reasons why I like Webull, is that they have a lot of really good promotions. All right. Sorry to be all salesy. Here, let me make my sad Yoda face that I'm salesy. Because I was the top cookie salesman in Girl Scouts. Now I'm rambling. That's how we know it's the end of the video. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching Shelly's Millions.